r/the10thDentist. Pandashavasex says, if aliens were to visit Earth, humans should kill them all. If aliens were to exist in another universe, and they were to travel here to Earth, they should be immediately executed as soon as they fly into the airspace, no questions asked. Why? It's simple. Nobody would put in the time and effort traveling to another universe just to make friends. They have friends back home. They would be here to conquer our land, wipe out all Earth's creatures, and take what's ours. They would be nothing but a threat that needs to be erased. Unengaged Crayon says, it's simple. Nobody would put in the time and effort traveling to another universe just to make friends. We are literally putting time and effort into sending signals out into a universe to talk to aliens, and for no other reason. Why do you believe to know how an alien civilization would work? Why would you even try to impose human values onto another? Nihilism from Pluto says, those are good questions and I think the answer is something around here. We are products of natural selection. It's reasonable to assume that if another species has established a technological civilization, then that species was likely a product of natural selection as well. Natural selection, as we know it, is completely brutal. Animals eat each other alive just to survive. Animals will often consume other creatures young. In the wild, if you don't get enough food you will starve. The weather that year can lead to huge deaths in animal populations. This cyclical process of reproduction and death eventually created us. So back to what was originally said, if we assume correctly that this alien species was also created through natural selection, like us, then they are probably willing to do whatever it takes to benefit themselves. If part of their path to doing so is destroying us, so that they don't have to compete for resources, then they almost definitely will. Those are the kinds of assumptions you'd have. r/the10thDentist. Shakadus not a fruit says, I love working out in jeans, and there's no good reason to ban them in gyms. I never understood the ban of jeans in gyms. If I exercise sitting down/doing upper body, there isn't any reason my choice pants will matter. Plus, I always wear jeans when I'm out of the house. So for example, let's say I have to lift something heavy or whatever, I'd already be used to doing it in jeans. If I'm late for the bus and I choose to run, I'll run in jeans. It just makes more sense for me to exercise in jeans. Conch Rebecca says, I worked at a gym. Some jeans have rivets and shit that can tear the lining on some of the seated machines. It's easier just to ban all jeans than to inspect every own's ass rivets before they work out. Hemikor says, I came into this thread to agree with Op, but you've raised a valid point. I'm now unqualified and indifferent to weigh in on the matter. Godspeed Jim Janers. McDonald's French Free says, same here, I was about to be like let the man wear his jeans, but this explanation makes sense. Jessa Say Snow says, rivets rip the pleather on the benches and other equipment. Mruking Chang Wing Tang says, the reason one wouldn't use them is because they are uncomfortable, but if you don't think so that's fine. The reason they are banned is Marizo for safety and preserving equipment, cause there's lots of stuff sticking out that can rip/scratch up equipment and or get stuff caught on. Fudu says, they are typically banned for safety reasons. If you drop or lose control of a heavy weight and it snags on gym clothes, they will rip or pull away from your body easily. Jeans, especially with a belt, are much stronger. If dropped heavy weights snag on your jeans, you are much more likely to get hurt. r/the10thDentist. Mushinushi says, I enjoy having a poop right after showering. There's something nice about taking a good old dump in the bathroom after a wash. I get to sit down and relax as the remaining steam accompanied by the warm temperature persists. Furthermore, when my butt does get warmer from the hot water coming into contact with it during my shower session, sitting on the cool toilet seat becomes more satisfying, like some yin yang shit. Also, I don't really feel dirty. Still feel the same to be honest. Obviously I go out of my way to try to poop every time after I get out of the shower and dry, but when the need does arrive, I embrace it. And yes, I made this post after doing it earlier. Consistent Unit 3808 says, disgusting. Mrablumus says, absolute disagree, having to go after a shower just makes me feel slightly less clean, and all I want after a shower is to feel cozy and clean lol. Iduachowski says, shit, shower and a shave. In that order. Metroidman says, I always shave before I shower. TARDIS 1-13 says, nap pooping and then a shower is best. Deltris says, you're a literal monster. Blericat1 says, thanks for letting us know. Plottivus says, it's like Adderall, if you already have stomach issues Taco Bell makes it better. Marks 716 says, absolutely insane, upvoted, have a day. Devil Spagimus says, if you use a bidet it's like a second shower. r/the10thDentist. Hey buddy 123 says, Folkstyle wrestling should be America's sport. Every country has its own combat grappling sport. In Russia, there is Sambo, in Japan, there is Judo or Sumo, and in Brazil, there is Jiu-Jitsu. America does have one, folk style wrestling, sure, it's not a spectator sport like football or basketball, but neither is any grappling sport, really. Folk style wrestling is as American as apple pie. Abe Lincoln was a wrestler himself, doing one of the early iterations of folk style known as American catch wrestling. Yeah, we have boxing and MMA, but America really needs its own martial art that people love and respect. Justin3189 says, I did wrestling from 4th grade through the end of high school. I was pretty mediocre in GL, but I definitely enjoyed the sport. The problem with folk style wrestling being America's sport is it's a shit spectator sport. If you don't have a decent understanding of wrestling, it just looks like two dudes rolling around. MMA doesn't have that issue as much, because the average person doesn't need to know anything to root for someone to punch, or kick hard, or try to break the other dude's arm. And it's not like MMA is anywhere near the scale of football, baseball, or baseball. Category Kiwi says, if you don't have a decent understanding of this sentiment cracks me up with the context of how popular American football is. It definitely didn't just look like a bunch of people stopping and starting seemingly at random when I first got here. Nope, not at all, and that's from someone coming from the land of rugby, which is basically the same game without all the stopping for commercial breaks. It would have been beyond confusing without that point of reference. Meanwhile, games like soccer is basically kick ball into goal, don't use your hands, and you now know enough to watch the sport. Rufio 313 says, you say every country has their own combat grappling sport, and then proceed to list 3 countries that have them. So what are the other 190 plus martial arts from other countries? Rogers Razor says, Shui Jiro China Mongolian Wrestling Mongolia, obviously, lol, Shwinjan Switzerland Siam Korea Senegalese Wrestling Senegal Koshti Palavani Iran well, that's 6. Let's see if Op knows 184 more, lol. r/the10thDentist. Can confirm Fishes says, sleep deprivation is the best thing ever. First of all, sleep deprivation boosts my brain, and I can get shit done way faster. I also feel like eating less, so fewer calories consumed. Not to mention it makes my senses sharper, which just feels good to have. Then finally, after 40 something hours of not sleeping, when I finally get to, because my eyelids have become heavier than lead curtains, and I can't even keep them open anymore, it's the best, frick-ing thing ever. I can sleep for 15, even 20, sometimes, hours without any interruptions and it's the frick, I'm sublime. Sure, it may not work out all the time because of work schedules and life in general, but when it does, there is nothing that can come close. Pro tip for the feeble, doom scrolling through Reddit for a while before bed without night mode filters is also pretty good, but not quite sleep deprived good. Yes, I'm aware that sleep deprivation is bad for me, but I'm okay with it, because I don't drink or smoke, and this is the only thing I'm kinda addicted to. Mushinushi says, that's pretty bad for your health. Opposite Vertex says, you and I are going to have dementia by 30, I'm a very bad college student. Obama Prismistrial says, the ideal American worker. Toasty Rolls says, sleep is the single most important thing you can do for your mental and physical health. This will not end well for you if you don't get a handle on it. Sawn1618 says, this is arguably worse for you than tobacco and alcohol combined. Those two will kill you slowly, but this will lead to psychotic break from reality. Rana 100,374 says, well, this is a hot take. Umatex12 says, I agree, downvoted. I feel so peaceful while sleep deprived in modern world. Like I smoked a shitload of good Zaza. I'm chill, chat with strangers, slowly walk around, do my job, write fully focused. It surely helps that I don't have to drive, only public transport, so I'm not even any danger. But I would never do it often, and on purpose like you. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.